My name is Brendon Camm, and this is your running news. Asics is set to unveil their first high-stack carbon fiber plated racer. I know, we've seen things like the Asics Meta Racer come out from them that does have a carbon fiber plate, but that shoe was not for me. I'm just a newbie little non-elite, and I don't like shoes that don't have high stack heights because I need some babying for my legs. I do like that thicker foam. Now, this shoe is meant to come out at a cost of $250 US. That's the rumor anyway. It's listed on the Asics EU website for 250 euros, so that's quite high. And that is set to be unveiled on March 31st. There have been a couple little bit of inklings come out from around the internet that I'd like to share with you folks. And the first one is, this is meant to have a similar feel to ZOOMX. We all know and love the thick ZOOMX shoes such as the Nike Next Percent, the Alpha Fly, and even the non-plated shoe, the Invincible Run, which is personally one of my favorite daily trainers of all time. Been loving that shoe. Now what I'm thinking is this foam is likely going to be a blend of Flight Foam Blast. What I think they should do anyway is make that foam just a little bit less dense, add a little bit more air to it, add a carbon fiber plate for that stability, and I think they would have a real winner. Those of you that have tried the Asics Nova Blast know how great that Flight Foam Blast foam can feel underfoot, but a lot of issues have come with the stability. So if they can mix with the compound, add that plate in there, I think they would have a real winner. Who knows? I don't know if it's going to be PBAX based. We don't have any of that information yet. But like I said, March 31st, they're set to unveil that shoe. And I honestly can't wait for it. Asics also has another shoe floating around in the hands of some other shoe reviewers called the Asics Magic Speed. And this is a shoe that uses just pure Flight Foam Blast, I'm pretty sure. And it has a carbon fiber plate. I'm not sure if it's full length or what the deal is, but that shoe doesn't appear to be what we've been seeing on the feet of these athletes. I took this picture that they put out for their press release, put it in the Lightroom, up the exposure just to see what I could kind of reveal from it. And it's really hard to tell if it is this Magic Speed, or if you look at the metadata in the URL of the Asics EU press release, that they're naming it the Asics Meta Speed Sky or something along those lines, or maybe they're just trying to mess with us computer hackers that want to get more information. Asics, you're confusing me, and I can't wait to figure out what that shoe is. Less than 10 days now, we'll have our answer. On to story number 2. Continuing on the theme of carbon fiber plated racing shoes, New Balance has unveiled their New Balance Fuelcell Elite RC number 2, or whatever the name is. I can't keep these names straight. But the good news is they've done some great improvements that makes me want to go out and slide my credit card right this minute. They've added some more stack height into that midsole. They've added 7 additional millimeters of that fuel cell midsole foam. Now, I didn't try the version number 1, and there's a good reason for that. People that are neutral runners, pure neutral runners, said that that shoe was too unstable for them. I myself overpronate on the best of days, so I figured that if I were to put that shoe on my feet, it just wouldn't really work out for me. Now, when I first saw that they added that additional stack height in the midsole, I was a little bit concerned as well, because more stack height typically means more unstable. But what New Balance has done here is they've widened that base of the shoe as well to help with that stability element. I really thank you, New Balance. You have answered my prayers in that sense. I really can't wait to try it out. And yes, it's definitely going to be a huge buy for me. I can't wait to instantly put my credit card information in when it's available for order. Now, they have also changed the outsole, and the outsole change I think might kind of spark some controversy for people. What I heard anyway in the version 1 is the outsole was one of the shining lights of that shoe. They used this like triangle plopping looking thing in the outsole in the first version, where this second version they're using just thick slabs of rubber, I guess. Who knows? I'm not too much of an outsole critic, but if I haven't really tried a shoe with a bad outsole, so maybe if I did, I'd be a bit more critical, but we'll have to see. And yes, these changes are kind of negative in a sense if you don't like heavier shoes. This shoe did gain a bit of weight from the reports that I've been seeing, but that's totally fine for me because if it's a thick stack height shoe, I don't care about the weight, baby. Have you ever found yourself sitting there late at night, not having enough running content to watch? So sad that all your favorite YouTubers have already uploaded and you've gone through their whole catalog. That's okay because you found my channel, and if you want to see more running content, please hit that subscribe button right down below. Help this video by hitting that like button. It truly does help the channel a lot. Now let's get back to the news. Story number 3 is all about the Saucony Endorphin Pro version 2 leaks. This right here is the Saucony Endorphin Pro version 1. Absolutely love this shoe, but because I'm a non-elite, I don't think I'm using this shoe to the full potential. The carbon fiber plate in this shoe is a bit too rigid. But anyway, the version 2 pictures have leaked, and it looks like they've made some crazy changes. Now, again, they've added some stack height to the midsole here. And I don't know, this is gonna be a common theme, I think, through 2021, is try to make the midsoles as thick as possible, or as thick as World Athletics will allow anyway. And I think Nike is kind of setting that trend and people are kind of following, or maybe they're doing their own research and finding that the thick stack heights do actually make a difference. I don't know. What do you think about that? For me, I personally do enjoy the thicker stack heights, but I think on the Saucony Endorphin Pro number 2, I don't think more stack height would help me enjoy this shoe more. I really don't. I do think that they need to tune the carbon fiber plate to be a little bit more flexible and able to be bent by my non-elite muscles. But I don't know. I think I will probably try the shoe out still, but that thick stack height, I don't think it's going to change a whole lot for me. They also did look like they made some changes to the upper, and that is also kind of another downside. I do like the minimalism of the upper in the Endorphin Pro number 1, but for the number 2, it does look like the changes they've made is kind of going in the negative direction, but Saucony surprised us in 2020, and they might surprise us through 2021 as well. We'll see. I did actually, in terms of Saucony, I'm really curious on what the more stack height of the Power Run PB is going to add. So it could be like an exponential curve where the thicker the stack height, the softer the foam. We'll have to see. Anyway, let's move on to the QUICKFEETS. No one completed the Barkley Marathons again this year. Now, that's not an unusual thing for this event. This is a crazy event where crazy people try to complete a almost non-running event. It's pretty much an orienteering event, but it's still a crazy 100-mile endurance event, and no one completed it again this year. Better luck next year, folks. Nike Next Percent number 2 has been released, or at least a soft release has been done. Nike seems to really enjoy doing that to us just because they like to make us scramble to get a pair of our dream racing shoes. But don't worry, folks, the Nike Next Percent number 2 is meant to be released for a full worldwide release later on this week. So if you can get yourself a pair, you might be able to get yourself a dream racing shoe at a little bit cheaper of a price with an improved upper. And if you don't like that, well, then you gotta go find something else. You gotta go find a different other shoe. Also, Nike has released the ZOOMX Invincible worldwide on March 11th. So it's been about 2 weeks now, almost, that the ZOOMX Invincible has been available for order to the whole world. I have a funny story about the ZOOMX Invincible, actually. So I actually have no idea why they don't release it to the US, because listen to this, I'm from Canada and I was able to order that in the end of February. You folks in the US of A had to wait to the middle of March, almost. And I just don't get this, because when I ordered the shoe, it came from the Netherlands. So why could I, someone living on the east coast of Canada, order and get it delivered from the Netherlands, but you folks in the US could not? Maybe some weird kind of trade agreement. I have no clue. Makes absolutely no sense. Potentially the distribution center for the States is in the States. You know what? None of that makes much sense to me. It just enrages me. So that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to your running news this week. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to do this each and every week, updating you guys on the latest running news. It's not always going to be about shoes. This week was just heavily shoe related because, well, not a whole lot of races went on. But I will catch you next week. Have a fantastic evening.